Hey, this is Dan, broadcasting from my house, and we also have QX broadcasting from his house.
My bear market house.
Your house. Period.
That is true.
That is true. That's it. That's as far as it goes. Nice leather seats.
Oh, thank you. It's old. Everybody says, "Oh, it's such a fancy car." I'm like, it's like from 2011. Give me a break. Anyway,
no, it looks like a Hyundai. It looks like a Yugo, actually. Really nice Yugo.
It's my family car. It's a Audi. I get it so it lasts 20 years, Dan.
Audi.
I know.
Anyway.
Audi. This should show my commitment to Ergo, that in between two appointments, I'm sitting here in the rain, ready to talk to the community about the happenings in Ergo and to be with you, Dan.
Yeah, well, I think it would be more impactful if you actually were in the rain, with a webcam, like in the rain, looking all like a poor peasant, all getting rained on. That would have been a lot more. Are you gonna open the sunroof?
I can probably open the sunroof. I can figure it out and rain on myself. Yeah, 100%.
Wow. You can figure out how to open a sunroof. You definitely are a top Ergo builder.
I know. Yeah. What's new this week, Dan?
Well, what's new? Dealing with exchanges. Ha ha ha. We were just talking about that, but I'm not going to use the same words I used before we went live.
You could just say exchange A, exchange B, and then, talk about your gripes, maybe. Anonymize it.
Well, listen, it's just, working on it, but it's not the most pleasant job in the world, but we'll make it happen. So that's been happening. Plus, of course, so what was it, last week that the results came out for Rosen, for Fund 11, for Catalyst, and Rosen won again. So we are going EVM, my friends. We're going EVMing. And so that's being geared up. That was actually on about an hour ago. I was on the Cardano spot. So this is a show produced, I believe, by Ergo, if I'm not mistaken. And they were actually also asking about Rosen, and I got to talk a little bit about it. And actually, apparently, because Rosen uses Havala, right? The system of Havala.
Yeah, I guess, right? Yeah.
But apparently, so the host of the show was from India and spoke Hindi, and apparently the current colloquial definition of Havala is money laundering.
Stop, really?
It is. He said that. He said, you know what that means in Hindi? It's like, why? What money laundering? Well, that's not really what happens. Yeah, no, he says, traditionally it just meant money exchange, but I guess in modern colloquial Hindi, it means money laundering.
That's really funny. Oh gosh. Should we say what that is for people who don't know? That's a rare term. I didn't know it until we dove into it a long time ago.
Yeah. Well, why don't you dive into it, since it's been a long time for you?
Fantastic. Great. So essentially what it is this, if I'm thinking of the right term, it's a network of essentially people-owned trusts, essentially. So if Dan's in the U.S. and I'm in, let's say, I'm going to Europe for work this next week. So let's say I'm in Italy for my work. Dan's in the U.S. and I want to send Dan money. Okay. So in the old days, there was no electronic money or anything like that you can do between these communities. So I go to a shop in Italy that is known to be able to do this. And Dan goes to a shop in the U.S. that's known to do this. And I say to the shop owner, I want to send this man, Dan, $500. And here's a secret code. So you give him the money, you give him a secret code. So this shop owner now, instead of wiring the money over to the shop of the U.S. that Dan is going to essentially says, hey, here's a code. Dan gets the money. I have $500 in hand. You go ahead and give Dan the $500. So now Dan goes to the shop. He says the passcode. He gets the money. And now Dan has the money. I don't have the money. The shop owner in Europe has the money. The shop owner in the U.S. doesn't have the money. But then there is kind of an IOU between those two shop owners, so that if somebody comes to the U.S. and sends it back to Italy, then that'll even up at that point. But I think that's where my knowledge stops. I don't know how they even up in the long run. Maybe they don't. Maybe it's a series of IOUs. As more and more people use it back and forth, it evens up automatically. But that's the general gist of it. It's really, really cool. Done by telephone, I believe, back in the old days, or maybe now, but super cool when I heard about it.
Yeah, I mean, that's essentially how it works in a way on Rosen, and so that is actually one of the biggest security features of Rosen, is that there is no smart contract interaction between chains. So you don't have that vulnerability, because that's usually the vulnerability that gets exploited, and you just don't have that with Rosen. All the logic, everything happens on Ergo. So it's a lot more secure, and just great tech all around. So that's mainly what I've been doing the past week. How about yourself? How are the SIGs? How is life in your car? Have you done laundry this week? Well, tell me everything.
No, you live in your car, man. I don't need to do laundry. I just live in this outfit right here. My Ergo shirt, right? Can you see this?
No, I'm sorry. I can't. I thought it was,
so
it was M for monkey.
I stole this fair and square from Armenia at the last NFT con in Las Vegas in 2023. But that being said, the Honorable Daniel Friedman invited us to the conference again to share a block with himself, maybe Blitz, maybe Rosen. I'd like to see mining there with Lithos too. Would be really neat. But we've been invited to share a block there like last year, which I think was very beneficial to all of us. So that's something that I'll bring up at the SIG meeting this week to talk about it and see how people think. It'd be really nice if we do agree to go, that we get maybe more people or somebody else running it. It is it's a financial burden, that's for sure. So it's totally understood if people can't go just because you're paying out of your own pocket to get there.
It is a good event. Now I got to ask you something. Why do you have your seatbelt on if the car is not moving?
It's like a security blanket, Dan. What if some crazy person drives up behind me and hits me, kind of thing? I am not in a parking lot. The
seatbelt is not really going to do anything about that.
It might stop me from like careening through the windshield or something.
You didn't study physics, did you?
All right, here we go, Dan.
Anyway. Yeah.
Okay. I took it off just
thank you. That was bothering me. That bothers me. It bothers me almost as much as Japanese people who drive in the car by themselves with the mask on. Almost as much.
Oh. All right. You're skipping out of my update, Dan. I still got more stuff to do.
Okay. Hey, listen, I'm all ears. Let me know.
All right. So we'll chat about the Vegas thing at the meeting this week. See what people think about that. Lots of fun. Ursa Minus says flights to Vegas are cheap, but then you got to get a hotel, then you got to eat. It adds up. I mean, when you look at a flight, and like I'm in New York, so the flight I think I took was maybe $300 or something like that last year. But once you get there, It's a couple $100 a night for a hotel, and then it's you're eating Waffle House every morning with Dan, so it's like $100 a morning there for breakfast. This kind of stuff spirals out of control there. So
not $100 for breakfast. It's IHOP.
Well, it's IHOP. For what's his name? For Jamai, it was that one day when he paid for the whole bill. You're not laughing now, Dan.
What did you say? I wasn't listening. Sorry, I was looking at I was looking at the wall.
All right.
Now listen. You listen. We have to have the SIGs in Las Vegas. Okay, we have to.
I think it's fairly important.
It was really beneficial last year. I really think we got a lot of traffic for the SIGs. We had a lot of new signups. We had people. I mean, people were circling your little table of
Yep.
crazy.
Our little cake wheel, all that kind of stuff. And the SIGs like like we act now in the ecosystem right now, like kind of that glue that fills the spaces of everything and connects people. That's exactly how it worked at the conference. They come to Dan to talk about Zengate. They see Joe. They want to talk about Rose and that kind of stuff.
Yeah, yeah.
And we talk about that stuff and all the things in between. So it's really beneficial to have a SIG there to represent the entire ecosystem as opposed to individual projects. But yeah, cool. All right, next up, we Sig's mining pool got quite a boost this week with somebody on Twitter, Mark, I believe, wanted to join in. We also have another guy named George that joined in, so our hash is up to about 11 gigahash right now, which is fantastic. That's a block every day or day and a half or so. So there was an issue. The pool config that I had variable difficulty, which means that a high hash unit can join and a low hash unit. And essentially it kind of scales the difficulty and gives the high hash one a little bit higher in the same pool, as opposed to sticking to one difficulty. That apparently with mining core causes some payout issues with calculating share efforts. So thankfully Cheese zoomed with me on Tuesday. And also that was open to the mining channel too for people that came in. And we made two pools in the same pool, but we made two ports. So we made a 3052 port, a 3051 port, or 53 port, one with a higher difficulty, one with a lower difficulty. If you have a couple cards, shoot at the lower. If you have a higher, a bigger hash, shoot at the upper one. And that's been running great. Worked as soon as we did it after tweaking the config. And we're waiting for the next block to be found. And once that block is found and paid out and we recognize that the share calculations are correct, then we'll probably just start blasting it out everywhere to have people join and do the next stage of testing. So super excited about that. Cheese, I think if you ask Cheese, he'll say 2 weeks for the mining core storage rent integration. We did ask him that 2 weeks ago. So Cheese, let's call you out if you're watching here. Hopefully we get that running soon as well, so we can collect that. Zegex is live too, right? The pool is live. I went over there. I had some Ethereum burning a hole in my an old wallet on my phone, so I transferred it over to Zegex and converted it to USDT. And market bought whatever Erg was there, shooting the price up about 5, 6, 7 cents because it was right at the beginning. But it seems pretty cool. Takes about, I think they do 10 confirmations to get your Ethereum over there or your USDT. If you want to provide liquidity, it's always very important, guys. If you have it and it's just sitting there, why not make it work for you? Put some liquidity on there, some limit buys, limit sells, or use their tooling there to provide that for them. So I get super excited about that. There's a BTC and USDT pair on there waiting for you to fill up. What else? The market making discussion we had on Sunday, I think went pretty well in the SIGs meeting. We opened it up halfway through to everybody. We chatted a lot about community market making, and off of that chat, we jumped into a subgroup called Community Market Making, Ergo Community Market Making, where the idea is that we're going to run Hummingbot, and for a couple of weeks on a couple exchanges, and just measure our results and see if we can have some metrics to be able to present to the community that says, hey, if you put this much money into Hummingbot, this much USDT, this much ERG, you're either going to lose one ERG over this market condition, or you're going to gain an ERG over this market condition kind of thing. So people are a little less scared to try to jump in that and use that. Then the idea there is that Hummingbot, Cannon met with the Hummingbot person, and I think Mahatma as well. And what they found out is that they actually have a rewards program. So we could essentially connect to this rewards program and say, okay, if you borrow our liquidity, then you get these rewards for using it kind of thing. So essentially it's already kind of built that proposal that I had earlier. So we're looking into that as well. But as everybody says, as Kushni said, as Mark said, when you get listed on CEXs, they don't want to know that, oh, we have 500 community members running market making for us. They don't give a shit about that. They want to be like, oh, you're using X company to market make for you. Perfect. They just want to see one there. So there's a little conundrum there, and how we're going to manage that potentially moving forward could be a blend of the two if possible. Could just be bolstering our humming bot with a little liquidity there for rewards and getting the community out on that, as well as continuing and pushing towards a very stable third-party commercial market maker that we can, show, hey, we're crossing our T's, dotting our I's, CEX, here's our market maker, here's what they can do, kind of thing. So that's that talk. Every time we dig into it, we find out more information, which is why it's been a couple weeks so far. Every time Cannon meets with some of the head people at the market making companies, it kind of tweaks the information a little bit. So we're right on the verge of being able to make a proposal about where to go next. So stay tuned for that. Hopefully we can talk more about it this weekend in the SIGS meeting. Was that too long of an update, Dan? Was that all right? You feel informed?
What? Oh, sorry. Hey, everybody, it's Dan, and I got QX here is going to be doing the something update. Anyway, right. Well, listen, good stuff. I really hope that we get the SIGs out there. It's going to be a party. We're going to make QX pay for IHOP. Yay. Yep. It will happen. All
right, we got any questions?
We do have questions. I have many questions for you. Many of them are not nice. So let's maybe go to the questions from the audience. All right. Well, let's start with the top questions here. Let's see. Question for Dan. Have you ever shroomed with Mr. Hoskinson? No, I have not. But it is on my list of things to do. So one of these days, we're just gonna, we're gonna yell at walls because they're speaking to us together, and tell them about the mission of Cardano together, and then think that QX looks like a demon. Right. QX, this is relevant to you. Apparently, do you live in a van down by the river?
No, that's funny though. That's one of my favorite Saturday Night Live clips. Good old Chris Farley. If you guys are too young to know that,
because I live in a van down by the river. That is a classic one. Yeah, it's a great one. Great. It's actually a meme right now. It's actually really frequently used, but a lot of people just have no idea where it came from. The one that remember something that was great with Chris Farley. Yeah, the meme, but people just don't know where it came from. Came from that same skit.
That's got what's his name? Jack Handy. What's the guy's name? The guy that was killed by his wife. That dry comedian.
God! That made me forget.
It's Jack Handy.
God! Stop saying that. You got me screwed up. No. Phil Hartman.
Thank you. Perfect.
Thank you for not screwing me up. Yeah, that was a terrible thing. Actually, he was a great comedian.
Now Ursa's put us in a terrible mood thinking about those tragic things. Thanks, Ursa Minor.
Yeah. Anyway, all right. Let's see. Okay, so here's a good one from our friend Augustus Kent. All right. So how will Rosen bridging Cardano to ETH allow liquidity via USDT? And would it be possible to connect ADA to USDC? I've seen that requested a lot. It could really put us on the map. So, the idea here is it's not just like it's not just Cardano EVM, or it's not just Ergo EVM. It's like Cardano Ergo EVM, right? So it's it's connecting all these different rooms. And I mean, absolutely. At that point, you should be able to, to bring USDC, USDT, wrapped, obviously. So I would be RSUSDT, RSUSDC onto Cardano and onto Ergo, as well as other, as well as bring Ergo and Cardano into the EVM ecosystems. And actually, I believe Alex, it was Alex that said that he believes that the biggest trading platform for Ergo in the future with the deployment of Rosen, he believes is going to be Uniswap and the RS Erg on EVM. I think that's actually a real possibility as well. Centralized exchanges sometimes don't like wrapped assets, so they're pretty kind of annoying about that. But when you're dealing with swap platforms like Uniswap, like 1inch, these guys will pretty much deal with anything. So getting our RS Ergo and Uniswap, I think, is going to be a big game changer for us, as well as being able to bridge these assets, USDC and USDT, into the Cardano and Ergo ecosystem. I believe as well as Alex believes, this will definitely put us on the global map, and it's going to create amazing volume within our ecosystem. What do you think about this, QX?
Yeah, in general terms, I think that kind of liquidity sharing people forget about. So you are, at least I am personally, and I imagine other people feel the same way too. You're much more likely to traverse a trusted bridge than you are to dump more fiat into a chain and go from there. So let's say I DCA normally, let's say a couple $100 a month or $100 a month I'll DCA into Ergo to do that. I'm not going to, if a bridge isn't there, I'm not for no reason just going to dump another $100 or $200 into Cardano just to test some things out. But if there's a trusted bridge open, and it's going to cost me $10 maybe to traverse over to Cardano and check it out, or traverse over into Ergo and check it out with the liquidity that I hold from that chain, then, or the store value that I'm going to do that, I'm going to do that much more frequently to utilize tools on the other side. So I think people forget that, and maybe they were, high expectations for when the Cardano chain opened up for the bridge. But I think we're going to see a lot more of that as more chains open up and as more crossing doesn't happen just to Ergo, but happens from Ethereum to Cardano or Ergo to Ethereum or straight in that way. So I think we can't forget about that kind of stuff, because at least I know that I'm much more apt to explore an ecosystem with funds that I already have. It's more of a riskless adventure as opposed to putting stuff on chain. Because we all know, at least with me, when I put fiat into crypto, it hasn't come back out yet. so I do feel a little safer with traversing with those kind of things. And look at the pool over in Cardano as well with Rosenberg is pretty darn big on Spectrum, right? It's I mean, if you're doing thousands of dollars of trades, it's going to slip a little bit, but for your normal DCAing, it's pretty nice. As I said before, I'll DCA into Cardano, Coinbase ADA. I'll send it over to my wallet, and I'll do a swap on Spectrum and hold Rosenberg. And that's been pretty darn easy for me so far. It feels not. It just feels normal. It's like, hey, I have Ergo in my Cardano wallet, my Nami wallet. So yeah, that was neat. But yeah, in short, I agree with Kushti. I think Uniswap. If we look at Alephium, we saw that the majority of their volume and trading comes from Uniswap when their bridge opened up. So I have high hopes for that. I try to remain positive but also realistic. So considering what the traffic was with Cardano there, but high hopes, yeah, for sure, 100%.
Right. Deep thoughts with
By Jack
QX. Yeah, deep thoughts with QX.
We got one from Wendy here.
Yeah. We do. Oh, wait a second. Where did it go?
Right underneath the koala.
Oh, okay. Right underneath the koala. Okay. All right. So Wendy Moon asks, how can I learn how to start mining as a total noob and also to mine to Sigmanauts pool? Thanks.
Love the
QX.
question. Love the question, Wendy
QX.
Moon. Fantastic question. Um, so you can, depending on how much hash you have, you can do a solo mine. Let's say you have 2, 3, 4 gigahash rigs, then you can solo mine yourself, and that's spinning up a node, and that's spinning up this little thing called stratum on top of the node, and you can mine right by yourself without anything else. The easiest way to mine is to pick a pool, and as you pointed out, there's a Sigmanauts pool. Essentially, you download a small app like LOL Miner, T-Rex Miner. There's several others that work with Ergo algorithm. And you literally change one line of code in there. For basic starters, you put in your address, you put in the name of your miner, and you put in the IP address of the mining pool as well as the port that you're connecting to, like I spoke about earlier. And you hit go. And by default, you'll get a hash rate. And then as you get more experience, you may learn to, you want to throttle your GPU so it's not producing so much heat, or you're operating the most efficient energy to consumption ratio there. So there's a lot involved in that. But that's the basics. You can run it on a Windows machine, a Linux machine, or there's even things called HiVos, which actually is a bootable Linux install that is fully meant for mining. You can the good thing about that is for bigger farms usually, where you can kind of control the direction of all your miners from one interface. So instead of having to go set each miner to mine to a specific pool or swap, you can tell HiVos just do a pull down and say send them all to this pool. So the Sigmanauts pool, hopefully we open it up after this next testing. Stick around for announcements in the mining chat, and the main chat as well. We'll announce it. I'll probably announce it on the dev update, and if I'm here next week for the AMA, I'll announce it there if we're ready in time. But yeah, anything from, I mean, somebody wrote on Reddit the other day that they're trying to mine with 970. It was fantastic. A GTX 970, which I want to say is a card from maybe 2014 or 15. It was a very robust card back in the day. And they're getting a very tiny hash, and there's a calculator up. It looked like they were using hero miners from the interface. And it said monthly revenue, I think $1.50 for the whole month. And somebody in Reddit was like, why the hell are you mining? And the person had an awesome response. He wrote back and said something like, because it's awesome and I just want to do it. It's fun. So you can do that too, even if you have a video card that's not the best. If it's NVIDIA or AMD, I wouldn't recommend Intel. I don't even know if it's possible on the integrated cards. You might get like 1 gigahash or one mega hash. But yeah, give it a try. Just experiment with it. See how it is. It's really effortless. It's like a 2 megabyte tool that you download and run, and just point to a pool. And if you go to the mining chat and ask, people are happy to help you. If you want to jump into the Sigmanauts mining pool chat, just ping us and we'll let you in, and you can ask questions about that. You can even join in. It's just that if you join the Sigmanauts pool right now, we want to set your expectations that we're still kind of testing, but you are welcome to join that. So ping us if you want to, Wendy.
Indeed. Indubitably. All right. Let's go. Okay, I'll take one from Ursa Minor here about the ZenGate. What are the next steps for ZenGates when Solaris? So our current strategy is to really, first and foremost, to completely focus on Palmyra. Because especially now that it's scaling up, we need to make sure that Winter Protocol does what it's supposed to do, and on the scale that it's supposed to do it. I mean, this is all about getting that mainstream adoption for Ergo. I mean, that was one of the reasons why I wanted to build this protocol in Ergo, because it would be highly utilized within the commodities exchange and bring the traffic to Ergo. as well as other things that I mean, we're just making sure that we're making this as good as we can. So Solaris and Siberia are still on the roadmap, but right now all of our focus is Palmyra. But I will have updates for you later on in the year. So please stay tuned. Don't think that we are, in any way changing the master plan of the ecosystem. All right. Let's see.
Oh, Dan, while you're looking at that, can you remind everybody when your IDO or your ICO is on Cardano for Palm?
Oh, yeah, yeah. So we are going to announce dates pretty soon. So yeah, we actually, we're doing an IDO first on Ergo, and then on Cardano. So like I said, as promised, we're starting with Ergo, and it's going to be done with Erg, and then the one after that is going to be done with ADA. Right now we have an ISPO happening, but that's obviously for people who hold ADA. They can utilize that. And yeah, we're also going to have other special events and special ways of to let people be a part of it. Let's see. Actually,
your IDO is going to be on Spectrum Dex. It's just going to drop a liquidity pool, or are you going to do?
Well, so the IDO is actually what we're calling an IDO is an initial distribution offering. So it's not an initial DEX offering. So we are going to going to mint the token, and then later on is going to go on a DEX or is going to go on a SEX. But at that point, it's a distribution of the token. So basically, it's getting people set up with holding the token, for when it's minted. So the token is not going to be minted before the IDO. So the IDO is going to happen, and then the token is going to be minted in Q3, and then the IDO participants are going to get an airdrop of the token into the KYC wallet. And so let me just address this question here because it's been asked a couple of times. Well, when are they going to do the IDO on Ergo? So that's happening very shortly. Within, I believe. I mean, I don't want to lie to you about dates, but within a month to a month and a half, I believe that's where where we're planning, but exact dates are going to come out really soon, so just bear with us. This is a question I wanted to cover really quickly. Aside from when is the actual IDO happening? Saw that not Ergo pad utilization the other day. Is that correct? Yeah. So we ended up going with a company called T-1. They're part of the Wi-Fi platform. And essentially, the decision was made basically because this was already something that we spoke about originally. So working with Marty was great, but unfortunately, we couldn't accommodate all of the regulatory requirements that we needed to accommodate because of where of the token economy and where the companies are registered. So we had to go with a different platform that could accommodate those extra KYC requirements and screening requirements that we need to make sure that the IDO runs correctly and that we are that we're compliant. Because the one thing that obviously you don't want to do is not do it the right way, and in our case, for what we are doing, to do it the right way for what we're doing, and then getting into issues with legislation, with regulators and whatnot. We don't want that. We want to make sure that everything takes off without a hitch, and the Palm economy is virtually bulletproof. So that was basically the reason for that decision. However, yeah, I'm very, I'm very excited to see what Coinecta is building, and I'm really glad to see that they're seeing a lot of success. I saw that Marty's, so Paideia actually got funding in Catalyst Round Fund 11. So congratulations on that. And yeah, maybe in the future we will work with Coinecta and ErgoPad on other launches.
Speaking of
Uh,
Padilla, it's
I'm
been
sorry.
fantastic. I just want to
Yeah,
put a plug
yeah.
out there for Padilla. It's been fantastic with the SIGs voting. We've had maybe a dozen votes pushed through there to make payments to people to promote the Sigmanauts, and it's been a lifesaver. I'm very looking forward to the moment where we feel comfortable enough to dump the entire SIG's treasury into it, so that we don't have to try to keep doing these goddamn multi-sig transactions on our own. So yeah, Padilla's fantastic. Louis and the team and Marty and those guys, they're fantastic job with Padilla. Super, super impressed.
Yeah. Oh. So I joined QX in his car. Reminded me of Bid Boy. Ha ha ha. So
Should I be crying and saying that I'm
no, no,
broke
no,
with
no,
only
no,
two
no,
million
no,
in my
no.
bank account?
QX. What you got to do is be. I'm feeling better than ever right now. Just keep saying I'm feeling better than ever right now. I'm feeling better than ever right now. Come on,
Is
yeah,
that what he did?
yeah. It's like a whole amazing mix video that somebody put out. That just
Well,
it was a groundbreaking piece of cinema. All
mental health
right,
issues are no joke. That's for sure. I just don't know why people display them publicly online. It's silly.
yeah. Let's see. Let's see. We can. Oh, okay. Well, how do we convince USDT and USDC to stop being snitches? I mean, actually, Charles was talking about that a few days ago. I mean, look, when you have a stable coin being issued, centralized stable coin being issued by a corporation, then I mean that's what you get. You get a crypto asset issued by a corporation. Again, so the corporation does what's in the best interest of the corporation. So if if being snitches is in the best interest of the corporation, and that's what they need to stay in business and to to get the law off their backs, then that's what they're going to do. I mean, really, the only way is decentralized, stable coins and algorithmic. I also believe asset backed is really good, but both. But decentralization is key. You're never going to stop USDC, USDT from being snitches because it's just that's like I said, it's to you they're being snitches. To them they're protecting their corporate interests.
Yep,
I mean,
100%.
that's what it is, and that's how corporations work. And I mean, look, I mean, it might seem kind of like in like the world bros type of situation. Yeah, they're being dicks, but are they really? I mean, maybe. I don't know. Anyway, all right. Let's move on to the. Do you have anything to say about the QX, or what do you think?
Yeah, I think people just need to know their assumptions there. I treat those things like it's not a surprise. It's like your HR department. Everybody thinks, oh, HR is going to act in the best interest of the employee. No, HR is there to protect the freaking company. So it's just like that. These are corporations. They're going to do what's best for their bottom line and compliance and those kind of things. It's no surprise. So if you don't like it, then invest in SigUSD, invest in Dexy Gold, invest in Gluon. Promote these decentralized stable coins from there. Or if you need to use it, jump in and get out, kind of thing.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Absolutely. All right, let's go to this next one. Okay, so FC is asking what project upcoming will help drive usage volume, or what project is lesser traveled at the moment and can get more volume usage. Do you want to take this one? I mean, I'm partial to one project, so I don't
I
want
think we know
to. I
which
don't
one
want to
that
use
is.
this. Yeah, I don't want to use this AMA to keep shilling what we're building. So, why don't you go first?
There's so many cool things that are in the pipe here that could do that. Let's take Lilium. That's MG Pi, LGD, their group. Those guys are insanely sharp, and they're always trying to come up with things that are going to
Yeah, and those
drive.
guys should be working on Palmyra. Hint, hint, nudge. Let me
So
see.
one of their
Where's my
ideas.
Slack? Where's my Slack? I got to see if is the green light on.
Oh, they're working on it,
Anyway,
I'm sure. One of
no,
the
no,
things they're working on is
they do a fantastic job. They do a fantastic job at working. Doing work for Palmyra. I mean, we're very lucky to have them.
yeah, they're super sharp. One of the things they were working on to help with adoption is a ticketing system. And when I say ticketing system, I don't mean IT ticketing system. I mean like an event ticketing system. So, they're MGPI is very big into NFTs and creation and bulk. You always see him breaking stuff on testnet as well as mainnet sometimes. So their one idea there that they were pushing towards, and I think they mentioned a little bit at the last Ergo hack, is a full-on event ticketing system. So you go online, you sell your tickets. The actual person has control over that. You're not looking at some third party like StubHub or those kind of bullshit things that increase the price of those. And you are in control of your ticket. It's never really in your wallet, essentially. It's a permissionless kind of thing where, permission where your wallet has access to that asset in a smart contract. So you can actually exchange that as well if you want to sell it to somebody or put it back out in the open market. So that was one really cool thing that was I was looking forward to as they developed that. I still think we are painfully and shamefully underutilizing the big things like SigmaFi and duck pools. I think once I know that duck pools can be similar to other pooled lending services out there. I think SigmaFi is super unique, and once people get a hold of that, perhaps in the Ethereum space, or maybe more Cardano people come over, I think that's a huge benefit that people don't realize there. What else that's coming up? Chain Cash is going to be pretty cool, and I know Chain Cash might not seem like one of those things that you and I would use every day, but it's really one of those things that it's a bigger financial tool that could be used in the future for that. So I'm super excited about that. I mean, there's a hype of sub blocks, of course, that we haven't spoken about in maybe a week. That might bring more people in and utilize the frameworks that will allow for faster transactions and rolling up there. So you may see different things come into play that utilize that framework. As they spoke about earlier, sidechains based on a privacy framework or sidechains based on speed and that kind of thing. So there are all those opportunities for that are super, super exciting. But as far as projects in the pipeline, yeah, I think we have a couple out there already that just that are underused and utilized, and we need to get them out there. And there's other things as well, like LGDs and MG Pies, lithium stuff, and even Mike with THD is fantastic. That's a huge undertaking for music on Ergo, in owning your actual music and your content. Once that takes off too, that's another thing. We have all these slow burns, I guess you could say, that are really exciting. But yeah, I guess that's. What's yours, Dan? Let me guess. It is going to be. I don't know. I can't guess. You tell me.
UX's Playhouse. It's a little known project, but it's going to be huge. It will.
Is it like Pee Wee's Playhouse, Dan?
Actually, you know what? I mean, I'm pretty much just on the same page as you. I think Dexy Gold is going to be a big one. I think Chain Cash is going to be a big one. Yeah, I mean, aside from obviously my partial favorites, I think those two have a very good chance of moving things nicely. And of course, Rosen. Rosen is one that's going to drive volume, obviously, because that's really what it's for. It's for moving stuff. Yeah. So, I mean, yeah, it's just it's only a matter of time, I think, before one of these things just kind of goes huge because there's such great innovations. Um, Ursa Minor told you QX, there's a homeless man approaching.
There's probably several.
Oh, okay. Well, that's then, keep on keeping on. All right. Okay, so let's take this question from Harry Prey. He's been really eager to ask this from us or ask us this. How can I leverage Catalyst funding towards Ergo Oracle developers without me acting as a middleman? Perhaps I need to gently push you guys towards creating a proposal. Well, I mean, Catalyst, that's how Catalyst works. You put together a team, then you put a proposal in. And when the proposal goes through, that team distributes the funds, and they also have milestones that the team has to meet and to submit to get funding. So, I mean, look, if you want to leverage Catalyst funding, you need to submit a proposal. You or your team needs to submit a proposal. If you want to help others but you don't want to be involved in it directly, I mean, as far as the actual proposal, well, then talk to the teams that you think are going to be the most effective in this and kind of sell them the idea of going in together and engaging in this and creating a Catalyst proposal and promoting it, getting it through, and and then delivering on what you promised, because that's a big one. It's a huge one. You have to deliver because Catalyst is community driven. It is. I think it's like literally the greatest DAO in the world right now. It just is. I don't know anything else that's as impactful or as huge as Catalyst. And when you think about it, you have to understand this is basically community driven. So you have to be out there, because just because Ergo oracles are good tech might not win you anything. It's just like with anything. It's about promotion. It's about getting out there and explaining it to people. You have to go to the community. You have to talk to the community about it. You have to be out there. People ask us or people say, well, people basically, I see people say, oh, well, this proposal was a really good proposal. I can't believe it didn't get funded. And, I mean, sometimes a team goes out of their way to make sure that the proposal is promoted and it's a great proposal, and it just doesn't get funded. It just doesn't. It happens. But more often than not, it's just proposals you don't hear about because these are not being promoted enough. They're not being talked enough about. They're not being put out there because people are just thinking, well, this is great tech, so naturally people will vote for it. But it's not going to happen. People aren't going to go and read every single proposal in its entirety. A lot of people will go and look at titles, and then if the title is intriguing, they'll read the proposal. Some people just won't at all, and they'll just listen to somebody else who says, hey, I know about this proposal. It's great. You should vote for it too. It's a word to mouth type of thing. So yeah, it's just all about the numbers. You go out there, you promote what you have, you talk to the community, you explain to the community, and just keep doing it over and over again because the community is so big. The Cardano community is so big that you would think that you have a really loud voice, and then you'll find out that there's like a whole sector of people that have no idea what you're talking about or what you're doing. And it's a big surprise to them that you're doing what you're doing. Yeah. So get a team. I mean, I see that. Well, okay. So, I mean, Harry wants an Oracle. Well, Harry, I mean, that's how you get it. You need to either, if you want to
Yeah,
be proactive about it, put together a team. If you're not,
yeah. I think
well, we can talk about it. We can talk about it, how great it is, but never make it happen. So if we're
I
talking
think
about Catalyst,
people forget, Dan, that teams are not just devs. I mean, they get so used to being in the thick of things in Ergo, where they see devs running the team and devs, being the front men to these kind of things. Don't forget that that's not what it's all about or how it could be. Let's take Hoddlebox for a minute. You have Tim Erg, who has zero coding experience or else limited coding experience, and he developed a team. He got a couple guys together and organized a team and was kind of the front man for this. And they came out with Hoddlebox, which is a super cool idea for one of the Ergo hacks. So a team needs that. They need a leader. They need somebody to, organize, do the Catalyst things, write the proposals, explain the ideas from a user perspective to the devs, collect the devs, get all that organized and push it through. It's an integral part of the team. So Harry, I'd say that if you have the desire to do it, you should start looking for devs that might also have the desire to do it. I know that Kushti the other day, 2 weeks ago in Dev Chat said, "Hey guys, what are some things that you'd like to see developed on, or what are some cool things you're thinking of?" And a couple people were really interested in oracles, and there were suggestions that you could do oracles on things other than erg or gold. You can do oil. It could be a bunch of different things. It could be also, there was talk about sports betting oracles, which would be freaking huge. Could you imagine setting up using the Oracle framework here on Ergo, Oracle 2.0, a distributed network of 35 people that are drawing in data from outside the chain into the chain, reporting it on chain, and then a betting platform built around it. You don't even have to build the betting platform. You supply the oracles and find some way to monetize off that, perhaps, if they come encoded or encoded or something like that to protect your work there as far as that goes. But yeah, team's an integral part, leadership's integral part of that team. And I think oracles are way like the tech's there. Somebody needs to take it and make a service out of it and make something that is more than just serving up data for stable coins, is my opinion. And then there's even been talk about Rosen Bridge traversing that data across chain as well. So let's say if you don't even let's say you build the oracles on Ergo and you want that data to be utilized in other chains, but you don't want to build something else to be able to report it on that chain. Let's say maybe Rosenbridge can help with that. Maybe they can help move your Oracle data across chain, as long as, of course, it's not needed in real time and it can be delayed a little bit. But, there's that idea there as well. So tons of ideas there that can happen, Harry, but don't be afraid to ask for some devs. And it could take months until you find somebody that's interested in sharing your idea with you, but don't give up.
absolutely, absolutely, don't give up. And even if you don't make the team, and anyone can make a team. I don't know. I don't think QX ever made the team. Have you ever made the team, QX?
Never, Dan. Never.
Yeah, you don't look like the guy who makes the team. You're anyway. I think
we got time for one more question, Dan. Before
we do. Okay, I was under the impression you had to run to another one of those cornhole college gatherings, and
short one.
Okay, short one. All right. A short one. Let's see. Okay. So, how have interactions with Kushti been since he left the EF? QX.
Is that question for me?
That's for us. I mean, look, my interactions with Kushti haven't changed. I'll message him. I'll talk to him about stuff. He'll talk to me about stuff back. I mean, he's in fact, actually, I think he's a lot more proactive within more parts of the ecosystem than he was when he was at the EF. That's my impression. What do you think, UX?
Yeah, I would say my impression of that is he's into. It seems like he has now the realization of the freedom of taking as much control as he can, in a good sense. He's He's pushing for the raffle now, for the Good Things DAO. He's asking, engaging in chats now in Discord for, what do you guys want to see built next? He's cleaning up Baseless a little bit. We did that the other week. That was very unpopular. Yeah, he seems to be a little more, what's the word? Not as reserved as he was before, which I think is great. That's fantastic, and I think it's really cool that now we're on a chain where one of the core dev co-founders is no longer in a foundation that has a lot of money in the treasury. So now you have kind of the co-founder, core dev, back to how he started, on his programming and his ideals and those kind of priorities right out of the gate again, and that's what he can stick to because that's what he's worked. That's a tool chest that he has right now. He no longer has the EF tool chest. He's got the Kushti dev tool chest, which is a different Kushti, I think, back from the beginning, perhaps. So I think it's really cool. I'm excited to see it, and I think it's unique in Ergo that we can still survive. And what was that, like a Tuesday? He announced it or something, and we put up a tweet, and it was like awesome. That means more dev work from Kushti. Fantastic. It's amazing that try to see that in some other thing. If Charles says he's leaving IOHK or IOG or something like that, or one of the top men, your price might dive a little bit. You'd get a lot of talk. What's going to happen? But here in Ergo, it's like, oh, awesome. We'll see Kushti more often in chats.
Yeah. Yeah. I think it's been one of the most graceful transitions I've ever seen, actually. And yeah. Well, anyway, I think what do you think? We're good. I
gotta go. Yep.
Here. Yeah. QX has to go. He's it's not like he's in a car or anything that can go places.
I gotta walk, actually, down the block.
Oh yeah, sorry to hear that. It's your exercise for the year, isn't it?
It is. It definitely is.
Yeah. Well, anyway, listen, guys, thanks a lot for the questions. Thanks a lot for tuning in today. And you know what it is. Same time, same channel, same place. Next week, we will see you there. So long.
Ciao, everybody.